going on, party people? Back with some Little Cup World Cup action. This is McFlurry. If you're new to the channel, I got lots of Little Cup action on the channel here, mostly covering the Baby Monothon Revival 1 tour, which was a Scarlet and Violet Terrorless tournament hosted by Empty that happened a few months back. And now Baby Monochrome, which is not a monochrome tour. It is just standard black and white Little Cup that's currently going on. We're into the round 7, I think, now. And I'm pretty new at Little Cup myself. I've only been covering this since about September of this year. So I'm just here for the ride to do what I can to cover as many of these matches as I can. It's just a lot of fun. It's a really fun tier, and I don't mind talking about it. So don't expect very expert commentary here and calcs and all of that. I'm just recording this really for fun and maybe just to give my 2 cents on this tournament that's happening here. So we're in the semifinals now of the Little Cup World Cup action. This match is between Canada and Brazil. All the Canadian players will be from my perspective as a fellow Canadian myself, and Brazil will be from the opposing perspective here. And I've done my best to make sure that I got all this. We're going to cover the games in order of which they happened. And how this tournament works, it's basically best of 8. So you're looking to get, 5 wins is the magic number for the week. I'm going to cover this semifinals match as well as the other semifinal match tomorrow, and then the finals hopefully in a week here. This tour is covering Little Cups from Generation 4 until current gen. There's 3 Scarlet and Violet matches per week. I'm saying that right? I am saying that right. A Sword and Shield Little Cup match, a Sun and Moon Little Cup match, an ORAS Little Cup match, Black and White, and DPP. And again, I'm just going into the order that these games happened, so hopefully that's enough of an explanation. The first one here is between Hey Sup and Mr. Magnus. Hey Sup from Canada and Mr. Magnus from Brazil here. And this is a Gen 6 Little Cup match, so ORAS Little Cup. This is actually my first time, I think, ever watching an ORAS Little Cup match, so gonna get some expert commentary here. Although I have a pretty decent idea of what things do for the most part. Like Tortuga might be looking to set up hazards, but my gut's telling me that things probably Shell Smash. Fungus, just a pretty bulky Pokemon that can take hits. Trapinch hits like a truck. You know, Volibee could do a few different things. I think it gets Nasty Plot in this gen. But either way, really good support Pokemon otherwise with access to Knock Off and Roost and Taunt and all of that. Timber, which its claim to fame is just having access to Mach Punch and Bulk Up. So being able just to set up some Bulk Ups and then get some hard-hitting priority off. And then finally, this little bird, Fletchling, man, I really had to remember the name, gets access to the Gale Wing ability, which isn't nerfed yet in Gen 6, so I have a feeling this thing has potential to do similar things to what Talonflame does in OU in Generation 6, and only times 2 weak to Stealth Rock, so there you go. Mr. Magnus bringing a Snivy, which I'm also thinking does similar things to its evolution. We'll have to find out. Likely going to be doing some Leaf Seed stuff. Does it get Glare? I don't know if it gets Glare. We'll find out. Again, not an expert on this tier at all. A Snubble, which, to be honest, I have no idea what this thing's going to do. It's a Fairy type, which, unfortunately, Haste-Up didn't bring any Dragons here. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what this thing's going to do. We'll have to find out. A Pawniard, pretty hard-hitting Pokemon. A lot of the time runs Choice Scarf. I don't know about this tier, though. We'll have to wait and see. Mindfu, which is a very popular Pokemon in all generations of Little Cup, just overall a very, very good Pokemon that, it gets Taunt, it gets Fake Out, it hits hard with high jump kicks, gets Knock Off, of course, U-Turn, it just kind of gets everything. And the Regenerator ability helps it out a lot, because when you switch out, you get 30% of your HP back. Porygon, also a very good Pokemon in Little Cup. And an Onix, which, does this thing get sturdy? It does get sturdy, so maybe Mr. Magnus looking to get up some quick rocks, so it's going to be a long enough video as it is. I should really just get into it here. So, lead Mindfruit from Mr. Magnus. Lead Volibee from Hey Sup. Yeah, Mr. Magnus just going to get out of there, going to the Snubble. It's the Intimidate off. Takes a Knock Off. Loses its Berry Juice. Okay, and then U-turns out of there. Berry Juice, interesting. Tortuga coming out for Hey Sup here on the Thief, which is going to take the Violet from the Tortuga coming in. And switches into Mindfu as Tortuga just gets up Stealth Rocks. Okay, cool. And then drops to a high jump kick as it no longer has its Violate. In comes Fletchling, there we go. Scaring out this Mindfu, just going to U-turn out of there into Pawniard Take Stealth Rock, of course. Is this fletchling just SDs up? Okay. Knock off from the Pawn Yard. And then Flame Charge from the fletchling. I think it's going to get a speed boost too. So this thing's fast and +2. In comes Onyx, which should be able to handle this thing pretty well. Barring maybe like a random hidden power, which I don't think is going to happen. No, gets out of there into Fungus. Mr. Magnus switching into Pawn Yard at 5% here. Maybe expecting that switch too. Knocks off that thing's eject button. Okay. Wasn't even a Violet. Interesting. And then Giga Drain gets the KO on the Pawn Yard. In comes Mind Fu for Mr. Magnus. High Jump Kick, not going to be able to knock out the Fungus, unfortunately, and has to take a Spore. Rather than recovering up some HP, just goes into Timber here, maybe using this as an opportunity to set up. Was that Sleep Talk? Did I miss something here? What was that about? High Jump Kick, yep, Spore. What happened there? Okay, Timber comes out. Sleep. Yeah, that's a Sleep Talk Mind Fu. Okay, and able to U-turn out of there. Crazy. In comes Snubble, which now has an Eviolite, I believe. Yes. Scaring that thing out. In comes Fungus, which also has Regenerator. Gonna take a Play Rough. Not gonna be able to take 2, though. That thing's gonna drop 2 of those. Okay, Snubble looking good here. In comes Trapinch. Gonna take a Play Rough decently well, and then doesn't quite get the Earthquake with a crit. KO with a crit Earthquake, but Feint will follow up and get that there. Very fortunate crit there. In comes Snivy. Scaring this thing out maybe with a Leaf Storm. Here comes Volibee on a sub. Okay, good play by Mr. Magnus here. Hidden Power Ice. It's super effective. And then Berry Juice gets activated. Knocks that thing off. Or it breaks a sub rather. Doesn't knock off the item. In comes Onyx on a U-turn. This is a weak armor Onyx, so it's actually going to get a little bit of a speed boost here. And Onyx is like decently fast as it is. Gets up Stealth Rocks. But it's going to drop to a Giga Drain from the Trapinch. Wait, what? Alright, in comes Snivy. Volibee switching in for Haste Up here. There's the Leaf Storm. This thing's going to get the +2 with the Contrary ability. And then Hidden Power Ice is enough to get the KO. Snivy looking pretty good here. This thing gets 17 speed, but again, Gale Wings. Yeah, going to scare that thing out. In comes Porygon. Traces the Gale Wings. Not like it matters. They're taking Acrobatics pretty well. Don't think that's a roll. Going to switch into Trapinch there. On the recover turn, yep. Then a Tri Attack and do 30% on the Trapinch. No after effect there. Gonna take an Earthquake and shipping this thing down. Still no status. Rock Tomb's gonna slow his Porygon down a little bit, but still outspeeding the Trapinch. Probably not now. Nope. Take an Earthquake, but just able to recover, stall this out a little bit. And Porygon goes for the Tri Attack KO. Crit, don't think that mattered. What was it doing before? 30%, yeah, no, probably didn't matter. Am I on, I am on slow. Slow mode's feeling really fast today for some reason. Here comes Mind Fu for Mr. Magnus. Again, this thing has Sleep Talk. Can take a Drain Punch, not that well, fortunately. Back into Snivy. Gets the regen there, switching out. Berry Juice activated, and there's the bulk up from the Timber. Snivy getting the glare off, okay. This thing Guts boosted now? Possibility. Could be Iron Fist, though. Oh, I'm thinking that's Guts from that. Well, it had Berry Juice, didn't have a Violate. So, Snivy's gone. In comes Mind Fu. Gonna Sleep Talk a High Jump Kick for 36%. Ugh, yeah, no, Timber's looking good as long as you can avoid Para. Gets the Mach Punch KO. In comes Porygon. Yeah, this thing's... Oh, it was Iron Fist after all, okay. And then drops to a Mach Punch, yeah. So, Haste Up getting the victory here with the Timber. Canada up 1-0 at this point in the match. Going to just take note of that. I do have a pen and paper here just to keep track of some names and then the score, of course. So, Canada up 1-0. Let's get into our next match here. All right, next up we got Agra from Canada versus Doug Trio is Broken from Brazil. And this is a Gen 9 Little Cup match. Let's get into it here. So, yeah, Agra bringing a pretty cool looking team. Both players bringing what appear to be decently balanced teams. Nobody just like going all in on the offense or the defense here, from what I can see here. Mind Fu, Volibee, Fungus, very good core in this generation. What the heck's this thing called again? A Shellos, okay. I know what its evolution does. Well, I don't know why the type is all question mark there. Maybe I'm missing something there. Weird. You have an Alola Sandshrew, which is a sweeper in this generation a lot of the times because it gets access to Rapid Spin and Swords Dance. So this thing does have potential to set up. Then an Elekid, which is just a very fast Pokemon for Little Cup, reaching 20 speed when running max speed, which outspeeds pretty much everything for the most part. Dugtrio is broken, bringing the greatest Pokemon to ever exist in Larvesta. Love this thing so much. Love what it does in this tier. It's a good time here. Also bringing a Toadscool. I think this thing gets Rapid Spin just like its Tentacool does. So that will help support the Larvesta. A Gothita, which can trap things and knock them out. So probably looking to target that Mindfu. A Tinkatink. Really cool Pokemon in this generation. It's able to use the Pickpocket ability and just take Violates from things. Really cool Pokemon, honestly. A lot of times it's running balloons, so it takes a hit, loses its balloon, and then steals the item from the Pokemon that just attacked it with maybe like a knockoff or whatever, which is really cool. You have a Stunky, historically a very good little cup Pokemon, and a Mindfu, which is also a very good Pokemon in this tier. Let's get into it here. In comes Volibee for Agra. Larvesta lead for Dugtrio. Gonna get right out of there, switching to Tinkatink on the Brave Bird. Takes the hit, and no Pickpocket, so this thing does have an item. And sets up rocks immediately on the shelves coming in. Switch out into Gothita, doesn't want to take like maybe an Earth Power or something like that. Sets up rocks, and then takes a Energy Ball quite well. Recovers that off, but does have the drop, so it is trapped though. I forgot to mention that. There's the Earth Power. That's all you can really do at this point. It's going to drop to 2, so Gothita already getting a kill here. In comes Sandshrew from Agra, maybe scaring this thing out. Yep, in comes Mindfu. For Dugtrio's broken. There's the Rapid Spin and gets the Speed Boost, so it's going to be able to outspeed the Mindfu now. But maybe not risking it being Choice Scarfed, actually, just switches out there. U-turn on the Volibee there. It's going to get a Weak Armor Speed Boost here. The Tinkatink switches in, and then U-turns out. Looking like a support Volibee here. Sandshrew coming out on the Stealth Rock turn. And then Terra Ghost knocks off that thing's Violate, and then, ooh, trying to block a spin, but instead Sandshrew just goes for Earthquake, gets Encored into that, lives, and then switches out into Toadscool here, which is going to resist an Earthquake. Instead goes into Elekid for Agra, okay. Knocks off this thing's Violate, and then Dugtrio's Broken's able to get the Rapid Spin off here and get a Speed Boost. In comes Mindfu on the Earth Power, takes that okay. And then Larvesta, very good switch into Mindfu. U-turn, no Flame Body, okay. In comes Elekid for Agra. Stunky switching in for Dugtrio's Broken on the Volt switch. That did quite a bit, actually. Do you wonder what item this thing's running? In comes Mindfu. Larvesta again, the switch for Dugtrio's Broken went Fake Out, still no Flame Body. Knock off. Agra really running short on time, but gets burned from the Will-O-Wisp this time. Agra really running the clock there. High Jump Kick. Maybe Will-O-Wisp expecting another switch here. There's the U-turn. Wonder if Dugtrio Broken and click it here. Maybe just Morning Sun. The Volibee switches in. Nope, gets it off. Okay, so now this Volibee is burned. Very, very good considering this is a physical Volibee. In comes Mindfu on the Roost. Agra getting some time back here. In comes the Mindfu on the knockoff. Loses the Violate. Agra's Mindfu, that is. This thing is burned as well. Larvesta switching in on the knockoff. Maybe looking to get the Morning Sun off on this turn. There's the U-turn. Switching to Volibee. Dugtrio's Broken. Gets the Morning Sun off there. Up to 70% now. Larvesta looking real good. Takes a Brave Bird from the burned Volibee. And then another Morning Sun, but probably going to want to switch out here, or maybe just sack? Into Mindfu, okay. On the Roost turn, yeah, sure. High Jump Kick on the Volibee. He's going to get Weak Armor Boost now. Take it quite well. Knocks off this thing's a Violate. And Brave Bird's still able to live the burned Brave Bird there, and then get the kill with the High Jump Kick. Mindfu pretty low though, but can just switch out and get Regenerator too, right? In comes Sandshrew for Agra, doubles an Elekid, as Dugtrio's Broken goes for the U-turn. Are you trying to fish for Static? This thing gets Static? Yes, it does. Gonna drop to an Energy Ball from the Gothita, which is able to trap it. In comes Sandshrew for Agra. The Tink switching in. Trying to get the Rapid Spin off, but that is a Ghost type right now thanks to Terra. In comes Mindfu. Don't think Agra has used their Terra yet. Tries to Encore that thing instead, switching to Mindfu. Larvesta coming in for Dugtrio's Broken on the U-turn. In comes the Sandshrew. Okay, what's the speed situation looking like here? 14, 16. We're trying to bait a Flare Blitz. In comes Mindfu on the Morning Sun. Okay. Yeah, and Larvesta's going to switch out of there. The U-turn. In comes Gothita, trapping this Mindfu that doesn't have a Violet. It's going to drop to Psychic. Instead, Terra steals. Lives the Psychic. Okay. Gets the drop to able to U-turn out of there. In comes Sandshrew. Terra Steel. Okay. The Tinkatink. Trying to get the Rapid Spin off, but Tinkatink, easy switch in here. Mindfu switching in on the Tinkatink. Trying to Encore that thing, and I'm having Deja Vu here. Larvesta coming in for Dugtrio's Broken on the U-turn. This has been a really good little end game here. How this is all getting played. Fungus finally coming out here on a U-turn. Toad School for Dugtrio's Broken to take the Spore. No, just kidding. It's a Grass type. It's not going to take any Spore there. Stunky coming out on... Oh, wow. The repeat Spore. Great play by Aggro there. And then... Mindfu on Mindfu. But then now we have the Steel Mindfu in on the not Steel Mindfu. In comes Larvesta on the Fake Out. Just realized Dugtrio's Broken hasn't even lost a Pokemon yet. And has Stealth Rocks up. While Agra's having a tough time getting rid of these rocks here. Just switching around here. And comes the Sandshrew on the Flare Blitz. That thing's just going to drop. Larvesta can kind of just go to town here, can't it? Especially since everything's weak to Flare Blitz now. Can U-turn out of there. Just play this patiently. In comes Toad School on a Sludge Bomb. Oh, wow, okay. Gets poisoned. And then just goes for the Earth Power. Just get some damages. This Fungus is going to Synthesis up. Trying to get this thing weakened a little bit. Maybe for an entry point for Larvesta here now. 100%. In comes the Gothita. Psychic doesn't get the kill. But I think the Trio's Broken just wants this thing low. Because then Larvesta can come in, right? Yeah. And Flare Blitz something. Yeah, Mindfu's going to drop. The thing doesn't have its Violet anymore. And then, yeah, Fungus should just drop here. Yeah, there you go. So Dugtrio's Broken getting the victory here for Brazil. We have 1-1 tie here. That was a really cool end to the game, I thought. Mainly because I got to see my absolute favorite Little Cup Pokemon just put in a lot of work. Larvesta, man, this thing is this thing's solid. It's such a cool Pokemon, honestly. I love the role it plays in really any generational Little Cup that I've covered, where it's around anyways. But especially Gen 9, I don't know. I really like this Pokemon a lot, so... I'm going to go on all day about this thing. Hopefully it appears in the next match here. So, yeah, we're all tied up at 1. Canada and Brazil. All tied up. Let's get into the third game here. Alright, next up, we got Gen 5 Little Cup between Typhoon Carter, also known as Timu's COVID test for Canada, from our perspective, and Envy for Brazil on the opposing side there as well. Typhoon Carter, a YouTuber that I follow as well. I highly recommend you go check him out as well. Does some really good DPPOU content amongst other things. But yeah, I remember them from just all of the work they do in the Revival Tournaments YouTube page. Not to be confused with Revival Gaming, which seems to be mainly Gen 3. Revival Tournaments covers a lot of DPPOU, and I like watching that from time to time, and I know Typhoon Carter does a lot of work there. Yeah, let's get into it. And Typhoon Carter, already my favorite gamer, bringing a Larvesta. Hell yeah, brother. Both players bringing pretty balanced teams yet again here. We have Larvesta, which, I mean, you just saw what this thing was able to do. It does a similar role in this generation as well, being able to handle the Mindfu and other things that just don't want to get flame-bodied. You have a Diglett, which is likely going to be Arena Trap. Though it is up against a Sand team, so I guess Sand Force wouldn't be too bad. But no, this thing's an Arena Trap most likely. You have an Elekid, again, very fast Pokemon. Staryu, really good Pokemon for Rapid Spin support, which is going to help support that for Larvesta, as well as the Volibee. The Volibee again. This thing is, you know, sometimes it's nasty plot sweeping, sometimes it is support. I could see it doing either on this team, but we'll have to wait and see. and a Ferrothorn, which is looking to set up hazards, Stealth Rocks, maybe get T-Wave off on something. Yeah, and there you go. Envy bringing a Sand team here. Again, also a very balanced team. Bronzor is an absolute threat, though there are some Pokemon that can deal with this on Typhon Carter's side. I just really like the role that Bronzor plays just in general. It's a really good Pokemon, I think. Doesn't quite get a whole lot of usage. So Typhon Carter really looking to use that Larvesta and that Diglett to help manage that thing. You have an Onmite, which these things sometimes set up hazards. They sometimes sweep. On a team like this, I don't know, I could see it going either way, to be honest. Probably sweeping, though, because you do have the Hippo, which can set up rocks. A very fat Pokemon. We've seen this thing be able to handle teams quite well in this tournament. Though that Staryu might be able to put a pretty big hole into that Hippo. So there you go. I was trying to say there, but a Porygon as well, a very fat Pokemon, and then a good little offensive core there with the Mindfu and the Ghastly. Let's get into it here. All right, Envy leading Shiny Ghastly, hell yeah, brother, and a Elekid lead for Typhon Carter on a Balloon. This Hidden Power, some kind of resisted Hidden Power. Okay, not sure what that could have been. Resisted by Ghastly. Grass, maybe predicting something to switch in. Perhaps takes a Sludge Bomb. In comes Hippo. Elekid's Balloon breaks too. Unable to Volt Switch. Okay, so kind of a bad start here for Typhon Carter. Maybe mispredicting here. In comes the Staryu on Stealth Rocks. Okay, maybe looking to spin, but you gotta get through that Ghastly too. In comes the Ghastly for Envy on a Surf. Okay, there we go. Good play by Typhon Carter there, expecting that. Mindfu coming out for Envy. Shiny Mindfu. Yeah, it's nice. And just keep spamming Surf. Okay, cool. And there's the Rapid Spin. Okay, timing it well. The Mindfu clicks U-turn. Staryu's not a Psychic type like its evolution, so that's only neutral. In comes the Porygon. Traces Natural Cure as well, so not really too afraid of status. In comes the Ferroseed. Envy, maybe predicting that switches into Mindfu. Larvesta coming out for Typhon Carter on the U-turn. No Flame Body. In comes Omnite. Okay, interesting. So Typhon Carter probably going to want to get out of there. U-turns out. Now, this Larvesta is faster as this Omnite Shell Smashes. Now, 16 speed. Yeah, no, that thing does naturally outspeed, so it doesn't really confirm my Choice Scarf. But, yeah, Omnite's all Shell Smashed up here. But you got the Ferroseedian, which is a good Pokemon to have in this situation. So Envy might switch out. No, Envy clicks Hidden Power Fire, I would think, from that. It gets a crit. Tough to say. I don't know if crit Hidden Power Fighting kills. Fire definitely, though. So, yeah, okay. Really good to have there in this situation. In comes the Volibee. Crit Hydro Pump gonna knock that thing out. Larvesta coming out here. Oh, wow, this could just be it. Don't know if the crit Hydro Pump mattered on the Volibee. Someone wants to comment the calc. That'd be appreciated. Here's the Diglett on a Balloon. Doesn't have Sucker Punch either, so it's gonna drop. Did we see what Hidden Power that was? I mean, I guess Diglett's not gonna... It's gonna be neutral either way if it's fighting or fire, right? Yeah, I mean, it's just gonna drop. I mean, Envy just likely picking that because it's the most accurate move. And, yeah. There you have it. So, pretty quick one here. 14 turns. Envy getting the victory for Brazil with the Omnite sweep. And not much more to say there. Brazil up 2-1. Let's get into game 4. All right, next up we got a Generation 7 Little Cup match between Ace Hunter, from our perspective, for Canada, and Mats, also known as TDNT. I'll be saying Mats, though, for Brazil. Why is the Ferroseed so big? That's... I don't know. That looks so weird. I don't know. It's also not moving. Creepy. Anyways, okay. I think it's my first time covering a Sun and Moon Little Cup match, so I won't really have too much I can add here. Though we do see a lot of familiar faces here, starting with Ace Hunter's team with the Diglett and the Mindfu and the Pawniard and the Volibee. We know what those things do. Bulbasaur, honestly, I have absolutely no idea. It gets Chlorophyll, so maybe this is like Sunny Day Sweep? I really have no clue what this thing's going to do. I mean, Sleep Powder Probably. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to just wait and see how this all goes down. And then a core fish, which gets the adaptability ability, probably gets Aqua Jet. Yeah, again, this is my first time ever covering this tier, so we'll just have to wait and see how this all goes down. Matt's bringing an interesting team as well. Now, I do know what Mudspray does from Generation 9. I'm guessing this thing gets stamina as well. Yes, it appears so. So, yeah, probably doing similar things to what it does in Gen 9. Again, we'll have to wait and see. A very large Pharaohseed. Is this an Alpha Pharaohseed? I don't know what's going on here, but probably doing similar things to what it does in other generations, right? Likewise, the Volibee. A Rufflet. Is that how you say it? Is Rufflet? Rufflet. There you go. Not sure what this thing's going to do. It's probably more of an offensive Pokemon, I imagine. I know it gets U-turn, so we'll probably see some of that. Staryu for hazard support, or hazard removal support, I should say, which is a good idea since you have 2 flying-type Pokemon. And this thing, a Spritzee, which I have absolutely no idea what this thing does. We'll find out this match, I guess. Again, never covered this tier before, so we'll have to wait and see. Both players using some timer there right off the start. We have a Bulbasaur lead versus Staryu lead. In comes Volibee for Mats. Gonna take a knockoff. Okay. That answers the question of what this Bulbasaur does. Switching out to Pawniard. Ooh, big Heat Wave miss. That's unfortunate. This is a special Volibee as well, so probably has nasty plot. I'm gonna get T-Waved from the Pawniard. Mudbray switching in here for Mats on the Stealth Rock. Cool Pawniard. In comes Bulbasaur on the Stealth Rock from Mats. Switching to Pharaohseed here as this Bulbasaur clicks Giga Drain. I was expecting maybe a knockoff, but... And then back out into Volibee for Mats. There's the knockoff. Okay, this Volibee gets a weak armor boost. And then Ace Hunter switching into their own Volibee on the Supersonic Sky Strike. There we go. The Z move, flying type Z move. Mindfu gonna scare this thing out. In comes the Spritzee. Ooh, big high jump kick miss. Unfortunate for Ace Hunter there. Bulbasaur switching in. It's a good switch into Spritzee, you'd think, on the Wish. And then in comes Pharaohseed on the Sludge Bomb. Okay, and he's gonna receive that Wish, which helps a little bit, I guess. Gonna take a knockoff, lose its a Violite, and then sets up a layer of spikes. Mindfu switching in here for Ace Hunter. Gonna take all those hazards and a T-Wave. Spritzee coming out here for Mats. Ooh, full para from the Mindfu. And then Bulbasaur switching in here for Ace Hunter. Take the Moonblast very well. Probably in a Synthesis on this turn, you'd think. In comes Pharaohseed. Yes! I already see why Bulbasaur is getting used. This is a very useful Pokemon. Click knockoff just to get some damage. Another layer of spikes for Mats. Sludge Bomb may be expecting a switch here. And just trying to chip this thing down. And then finally gets paralyzed from the Pharaohseed. Pharaohseed's clicking knockoff there, loses its a Violite. Yeah, I mean, I think Ace Hunter's kind of backed into a corner here. Here comes the Mudspray. Takes the knockoff. This thing doesn't have a grass move, does it? No. Oh, it has Giga Drain, yeah. But gets the kill with the Earthquake, so that thing was in range, especially without a Violite. In comes the Corphish. Ooh, misses Crabhammer. That sucks. And then drops to an Earthquake. Wow, okay. In comes the Diglett for Ace Hunter. Just gonna Final Gambit, just get some chip on this thing. Maybe that was the best move here. Mats hasn't lost a Pokemon yet. In comes the Pawniard. Takes all those hazards. And yeah, Ace Hunter knows this one's done. And Matt's getting the victory for Brazil. So there you have it. So yeah, if you keep a track, Brazil's up 3-1 now. 5's the magic number. And let's get into the next one here. Alright, so the 5th match of this semifinal match is between Ambipongus and Astarion, also known as Always Edgy on a Pokemon Showdown here. This is a Gen 9 Little Cup match, so this is our 2nd Gen 9 match? I think so. I've honestly lost track, but this is the 5th one here. Brazil up 3-1 at this point in the week. Let's get into here. So Ambipongus, a Pokemon or a player I've covered lots of their matches as well. Got yourself a badge. Good job, man. Good job. I think that's top 100 in Scarlet and Violet on the ladder. Nice, nice. Bringing a pretty standard team here, pretty balanced team with the Mindfu, Stunky, and Elekid. Both players actually bring Elekid. You see a little bit more Elekid usage in Gen 9, I believe, at least. That's what I took away from the Baby Monathon Revival 1 tour I covered, where we saw a lot of Elekid usage. A Fungus, a Mudbray, and a Volibee. And Asterion for Brazil, bringing a very, very similar looking team, with the exception of a Shelder instead of a Stunky. Now, I do like the Shelder a lot in this matchup because, well, I guess Ambipongus has a little bit of priority. So, Asterion probably looking to target the Mindfu and the Stunky there, because after that, a Shell Smash sweep might be imminent from the Shelder, because you've got the Icicle Spear to help manage with the Fungus. You got whatever water type move you're running, maybe Surf to help with the Mudbray. And this thing could just have Ice Shard as well, so if you get the Stunky and the Mindfu chipped enough, yeah, you might just be able to get the sweep off there. So Ambipong is really looking to limit the damage that this Shelder could deal here. I'm not even including Terra here, so let's get into it. We got Fungus lead from Asterion, and a Mindfu lead from Ambipongus. Clicks Fake Out right away. Maybe knock off on the follow-up. Oh no, U-turns out of there, okay. In comes Fungus for Ambipongus there. Takes the Sludge Bomb pretty well. Synthesis from Asterion. Gonna exchange the Sludge Bomb too. The classic Gen 9 Little Cup Fungus versus Fungus showdown. Oh, and Asterion gonna switch out an Elekid on this turn, on the Synthesis turn. In comes the Mudbray on the knockoff. Okay. It's gonna get a stamina boost, but loses to Violite. In comes Volibee on the Stealth Rocks. And then U-turns out of there. Okay, so we're not looking at a nasty plot Volibee here for Asterion. Fungus coming out on the Heavy Slam. That actually does some decent damage. Asterion going to get out of there, go into their own Mudbray on the Earthquake follow-up. That does a lot too. Gets up their own rocks. And Pongus just wants to get some chip on this thing. This thing have Rest though. No, it has Roar. And in comes the Stunky. Volibee switching in for Asterion here. On the knockoff, thing's gonna lose it's gonna Weak Armor boost. And then lose its own Violate. And then clicks knockoff, so yeah, definitely big time support Volibee here. Oh, and drops to a Gunk Shot, okay. Mindfu switching in here for Asterion. Volibee switching in for Ambipongus here. Takes the Fake Out, gonna get a Weak Armor boost. Yes, it does. Now scaring that thing out. Oh, clicks knockoff, maybe expecting the switch. Instead, Asterion stays in and clicks the high jump kick, gets the KO. Great play by Asterion there. In comes Elekid. Mudbray switching in for Asterion here on a T-Bolt. But they can just follow up with another move, right? Yeah, oh, Terra Blast, okay. That's a normal type Terra Blast because they didn't Terra that turn. In comes the Elekid for Asterion. Psychic, get 42% on that thing, and then Volt Switch out of there for Ambipongus. As a Life Orb Elekid, I should have mentioned that earlier. In comes the Mudbray, scaring that thing out. Mindfu switching in for Asterion. Big Earthquake. And a big high jump kick miss as well. There you go. That thing lost its Violate earlier too, just double checking. Tough miss there. In comes the Fungus. Ambipongus switching into Stunky on a Synthesis turn. And sets up a sub. Oh, on the Spore. Very good play by Ambipongus there. Knock off. That Fungus is going to lose its Violate, making it easier to deal with. And Sludge Bomb is actually able to break the sub there, which is cool. Gunk Shot able to get the KO from that range. In comes Elekid. Sucker Punch can get some chip on this thing, but it's going to drop to a Thunderbolt. In comes Mindfu for Ambipongus here. A 4-2 at this point. Gets the Fake Out kill. But is it... Oh, can we see the Shelder go to town here? Knocks off that thing's Violite. Gets the Shell Smash off. Okay. Clicks Protect on a high jump kick. Wow. Great tech there by Asterion. And then able to get the Icicle Spear KO. That's awesome. So Shell Smash, Protect, Icicle Spear. I wonder what the last move is. In comes the Fungus. Terra Waters here on a... Ooh, okay. Great play by Asterion. And then Terra grounds on the follow-up. Terra Blast not able to get the kill, but now the Shelter's asleep. And Giga Drain getting the KO. Okay. Because it lost its Violate. What a game. That was a really, really fun one, actually. 32 turns. Could have gone either way, I think, really depending on the Terra type from that Shelter. Both players playing very well, I thought. Honestly, that was a fun one. But Ambipong is able to get another point for Canada here, so we're up 3-2 for Brazil. Let's get into Game 6. All right. For the 6th game of this semifinals match, we've got Fiend for Canada up against West Sassori. I'm going to mess that up so much. As a Game of Thrones fan, I'm really going to want to say Westerosi there. So I don't know if their name comes from that at all, but I'm going to apologize. Maybe I'll just say West because I'm going to keep like messing that up, I swear. Now this is a not Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield Little Cup match. I think this is my first time covering this tier. So there you go, Generation 8 Little Cup. Fiend for Canada here. Keep in mind it's 3-2 Brazil at this point in the week. Fiend for Canada bringing a Larvesta. I gotta say, I love all the Larvesta action in the semifinals match. I approve. If I'm gonna pick a Pokemon for the thumbnail, definitely Larvesta. Though I might try to do like, I don't know, the standard Smogon Little Cup logo. I don't know, maybe I'll sneak a Larvesta in there. We'll see. I love this Pokemon so much. A Koffing, which is also a Pokemon I really like too. Very fat, gets Will-O-Wisp, gets Pain Split as well, so able to get some recovery. Yeah, really cool Pokemon. You have a Porygon as well, just an overall very fat Pokemon. Mindfu, Volibee, and Staryu. So a pretty fat team from Fiend, honestly. And then West Sassori also bringing a pretty fat team of their own, maybe a little more offensively leaning. You go to Volibee and a Timber. Okay, Timber always a threat, but Fiend appears to have a pretty good team dealing with that thing, with a few Pokemon that can handle Timber quite well. A Pawniard, a Marini, which is also a very fat Pokemon too, and looks like might be a little bit more of an issue for Fiend's team. Just kind of looking at the composition here. Hopefully that Porygon is bringing maybe T-Bolt or something, but we'll have to wait and see. Does Staryu get T-Bolt? I can't quite remember. I think it does. A Diglett, rather. I almost said Dugtrio. A Diglett, which is looking to arena traps and things. And then a Galarian Ponyta, which I've never seen this thing in action. It's a Psychic type, unlike its evolution, that's Psychic Fairy, I believe. So, yeah, and also quite a fast Pokemon, too. So let's get into it. Larvesta lead from Fiend. Marini lead from West. Gonna get Raid out of there. U-turn from the Larvesta. In comes Porygon. Traces regen. Kind of hinting at this thing having T-Bolt. Now, it takes a knockoff, which is very good. In comes the Diglett on the T-Wave. Okay. And this Porygon might be trapped now. Yeah. And teleports out of there. Okay, never mind. In comes the Larvesta. That's awesome. Marini switching in for West Sassori here. U-turns out of there. Okay, so lots of switching back and forth here. In comes the Porygon. Traces the regen. Takes his Sludge Bomb. No poison. And then teleports out of there. Cool. Mindfu switching in here on the knockoff. Or firing off a knockoff, rather. Loses a Violate. Both Pokemon lose their Violate, actually, in this interaction. Koffing switching in for Fiend. As that Marini just recovers up. Porygon switching in for Fiend. As West Sassori switching into Ponyta Galarian here. And then into Pawniard on the follow-up. Teleports again. In comes the Mindfu. Marini switching in for West. So much switching going on here. High jump kick on the Marini. And then U-turns out of there. Probably looking to recover on this turn. In comes the Porygon. Traces regen. Recovers. Pawniard coming in for West Sassori here on a tri-attack. Do we see any status? No, we don't. Sets up Stealth Rocks. Porygon gets a T-Wave off on this thing. This Porygon doesn't have a Violet anymore, keep in mind. Teleports out of there. In comes the Mindfu. Marini coming in here for West Sassori on the U-turn. Koffing coming in. So much switching going on. We're on turn 15. No Pokemon have dropped yet. Ponyta coming in for West Sassori on a Will-O-Wisp. Ponyta is going to click... Porygon's going to come in first. Ponyta is going to click Psychic. 36%. Take some burn damage. Trying to get this thing low. Porygon's recover up here. Ponyta's still taking burn damage, though. So just trying to avoid a crit or a drop here. Fiend just going to stay in here, keep recovering. It's Mystical Fire, maybe trying to get a burn. Oh, gets the attack drop, though. I don't think that thing gets burned, does it? As an effect. Teleports out of there. Okay, in comes the Staryu. Maybe looking to Rapid Spin. There's no Ghost type from West Story. Takes a Mystical Fire, maybe expecting a switch there. Or maybe just lower its special attack, make it easier to deal with. Gets the Rapid Spin off. Larvesta coming out here for Fiend on a Morning Sun. Okay. Interesting, that thing gets access to the Morning Sun. I see why it's getting used here. In comes the Marini on a U-turn from the Larvesta. Volibee coming out for Fiend. Gets a Nasty Plot off. Okay. Fiend takes a Sludge Bomb and gets poisoned. Very fortunate. Berry Juice gets activated. Volibee looking to cause some havoc here. Gets the Heat Wave off on the Pawniard. KO. Finally see a Pokemon drop on turn 26. Diglett coming out here. Yeah, Mindfoo's going to switch in here instead of... And takes the final Gambit. So maybe Westasori looking to capitalize on this. Ponyta coming back out on the Larvesta. Take a Psychic. Now, I think this is a Choice Scarf Larvesta because it didn't take that very well at all. Oh, gets a Will-O-Wisp off. Maybe I'm wrong here. And switches out. Okay, well, who knows? Who knows? I don't think it'd take that Psychic very well. Sludge Bomb from the Marini onto the Porygon this turn. Coughing switching in for Fiend. Take the next Sludge Bomb quite well. I don't think that Larvesta is a Violate. Here it comes again on the Ponyta switching in. In comes Marini on a Leech Life. Okay. Does quite a bit here. Yeah, I feel like this is Choice Scarf Larvesta. Porygon switching in on the Marini. Traces regen. Takes a Scald, gets the burn. Very nice. And then lives a Sludge Bomb. Just gets a recover off here. If you're looking to recover a little bit more here. In comes Ponyta on the teleport turn. Larvesta coming out here. Yeah, this thing's gotta be Choice Scarf just from how they're playing it. And West is definitely playing it that way too. Marini coming right back out on the U-turn. In comes Coughing. Porygon switching in for Fiend. Traces the regen. Ponyta for Westasori. Psychic there for 36% and then teleports out. Larvesta coming back out again. Okay, yeah. Marini coming out. We can see U-turn. No, we see a Leech Life here. Just trying to get some more HP back. Coughing coming in here for Fiend on the Marini. Doubles into Timber. Okay. Back out into Ponyta, maybe on a Will-O-Wisp. No, on a Sludge Bomb. That does some good damage on the Ponyta. Just kind of has the Morning Sun here, doesn't it? In comes Larvesta. Yep, there's the Morning Sun. Volibee switching in for Westasori here on the U-turn. No Weak Armor boost. Interesting. Gets Toxic. Gets a Roost off. No Weak Armor. Could this be a Big Pex or Overcoat, perhaps? Scald on the knockoff there. Staryu loses its Violate here. Covers off some damage. Volibee also roosting up, but it's taking toxic damage, so it's getting shipped. Switching out to Marini this turn on the Scald. This thing lost its Violate, right? Yes, it did. Porygon switching in for Fiend. Traces regen, of course. We've seen this interaction so many times already. Recovers this turn from the Marini. Sludge Bomb damage on the Porygon on a Tri-Attack. Wow, does a lot of damage. Like a 2-hit KO from that range. In comes the Timber. Doesn't want to lose Marini yet. Good entry point for the Timber. Threatening a Fighting type move. In comes the Coughing. Westasori goes for the knockoff on the Coughing. Loses the Violate. Great play. Ponyta switching in. Ooh, that thing is getting low. It's going to have to Morning Sun. Larvesta switching in here. Yep. In comes a Marini on a U-turn. Keeps momentum up. Coughing switching in for Fiend. And then switches right back out in the Porygon. Marini probably going to recover this turn. No, switches into Ponyta here. Gets a Morning Sun off again. Porygon Tri-Attack, or teleports rather. Larvesta back out again. Marini comes back in again. Wow, I'm getting... This has been a long game. I mean, we're at turn 60 almost here. Coughing switching in on the Marini. In comes Ponyta. So much switching. There's a Pain Split, so getting a bit of HP back there. Timber switching in for Westasori here. Porygon. Traces the Iron... Okay, so we're confirmed Iron Fist and not Guts. Coughing coming in here for Fiend. Westasori clicks Thunder Punch. That's a 2-hit KO. Gets the kill on the Coughing, so Westasori finally getting a kill on something here. In comes the Volibee. Air Slash, big damage there. Gets a flinch too. Very timely flinch there. Volibee switching in here for Westasori. Crit from the Air Slash. Okay. Very timely hacks here from Fiend. There's a flinch. Wow, okay. Some of this game's taking quite the turn. In comes Ponyta here. Threatening something here. Psychic on the Mindfu. Neither player have... this is Generation 8. I was about to say neither player Terra'd. Larvesta coming out here on the Marini switching in. U-turn. Volibee coming back out for Fiend. Looks to be in the driver's seat at this point in the battle. In comes Timber on a Dark Pulse. Doesn't quite get the KO. Maybe looking to Mach Punch here. Maybe think it's in range. Not quite. It's a weak armor boost though. Dark Pulse. Now it's not going to drop to Poison. This is just regular Poison, not Toxic Poison. In comes the Marini. Just gives it a Dark Pulse as a parting gift. Recovers off that damage. Drops to Poison. 3-2 Fiend at this point. In comes the Porygon. Recovers. Porygon just try attacking for 50% and burn damage too. So Porygon can play this patiently, but it's a little bit of a tricky spot at the same time. What's Ponyta at here? 58%. Yeah, this is kind of all Westasori can do. I mean, if you're Fiend, you just want to keep this Marini low, so maybe you can end this game with Larvesta, which again is Choice Scarfed. Or assumed to be Choice Scarfed anyways. Ponyta comes in here on the next Tri-Attack. Morning Sun's up here. Porygon teleports out. Brings in Larvesta. Yeah, this is... Larvesta very threatening in this position here. Here comes the Marini on the U-turn. Porygon come back out again. Fiend definitely in the driver's seat here at this point in the battle. Ponyta coming out here on the teleport. Wow, great play. Larvesta's back in. Probably going to look to U-turn again here. Yep. Rinse and repeat this whole process. We're up to turn 80 now. Very long batch. Ponyta switching in on the teleport turn. Wow, again. Great play by Fiend here. Just predicting all of this. Marini on the Flare Blitz this time. Okay, maybe looking to save some PP. Maybe not. Porygon switches in here. Ponyta coming out. Okay. This might be what Westasori needed. Gets the Morning Sun off on the teleport turn. But Larvesta is still threatening just to Oko this thing with a bug move, right? Marini switching in here on a Leech Life turn. So you can get a bit of HP back that it took from the Flare Blitz recoil. Porygon coming in for Fiend. Takes a Scald. 50% for the Marini here. Has to recover this turn. Teleports out. Staryu coming up for Fiend. Okay, finally you see the little cycle broken here. Porygon coming in for Fiend. And Sludge Bomb. Okay. Tri-Attack here for 50%. But Fiend's going to have to recover soon too. Switching to Staryu instead. To get some HP back here. Now this can get some HP from regen? Maybe not. Oh yes it did. Okay. Okay, cool, cool. Traces regen again. Takes a Sludge Bomb. Staryu coming out for Fiend. Takes a Sludge Bomb. Very slow end game here, guys. Covers up. I'm just trying to stall this thing out of Sludge Bomb. It's down to 5. does have natural cure too. There's the poison. Tricky endgame. Porygon coming out here for Fiend. Ponyta for Westasori here. I almost said Westerosi, I told you. Takes a Psychic, teleports out. In comes Larvesta again. What's Marini at? 6-7. No, 100 rather. Crit U-turn, okay. That's nice. Comes the Porygon, threatening the Tri-Attack now. Sludge Bomb crit! Oh, but recovers it off, okay. Good choice by Fiend there. Going for the recover. In comes the Ponyta on another recover turn. In comes Marini on the teleport. Staryu switching in here. Doubles in the Porygon. Traces the regen, of course. In comes the Ponyta for Westasori. We're at turn 101 now. Takes a Psychic, no drop. Ponyta's going to take a Tri-Attack. Both players probably going to want to recover this turn. Morning Sun from Ponyta. Recover from Porygon, yep. Marini coming in on the teleport. Staryu for Fiend, which is going to be able to do a little bit more damage than Larvesta will be able to on this thing. Back into Porygon on the Sludge Bomb turn. Trying to force this thing to use more Sludge Bombs and Scalds and just use up that PP. Tri-Attack here. Oh, and Porygon's low, but able to recover. Crit there would have been nice. Westasori really hoping for some crits whenever they're attacking there with the Marini. There's a Scald. Teleports out, brings in Staryu here. Back into Porygon. In comes the Ponyta for Westasori. Psychic off, teleports into Larvesta. Threatening the bug move, of course. We've seen this. Probably just gonna click U-turn here. Yes. Staryu? Nope, Porygon. I think I'm gonna speed it up at this point. This is... I'm gonna go up to normal here. Takes a Scald. Tri-Attack doing 50% of this Marini. Marini does need to recover here. How many recovers this thing down to? 4. Porygon's got 5. Scald. Tri-Attack on the Marini there. Marini's gonna have to recover again, yep. But at least it does have regen, right? Staryu switching in here on the teleport turn. Recovers itself. Sludge Bomb. No poison. Staryu threatening an attack here. Yeah, click Scald. Ponyta coming out here. Ooh, and then drops to a Psychic. Okay, we see a KO finally. Here's the Larvesta again, though. Very safe U-turn this turn. Big crit, actually. Putting a little bit more pressure on the Marini here. Porygon back in. Both players have 2 Pokemon left. Scald. Ooh, and Tri-Attack has... Oh, Marini's dropped. Okay. And yeah, this is game here, because Ponyta's going to come out. Porygon's going to live a Psychic and just recover that off. Click Tri-Attack at some point, but I mean, Larvesta can just come in after, right? Yeah, there you go. So Fiend getting the win here for Canada, tying this up at 3-3. And that was a long game, 122. I mean, that would be a long game for even like something like OU. For Little Cup, that's a very, very long game. Let's get into Game 7 here. All right, Game 7 here for this week. We got Elfuzion, probably saying that wrong, versus Skyu? Probably saying that wrong too, but this is a Gen 9 Little Cup match. So we do have Terra in this one. And Canada and Brazil are tied 3-3 up till this point here. And by the way, if this ends up being 4-4 after 8 games, there will be a tiebreaker match organized by the folks at Smogon, of course. So yeah, because I know it's best of 8, which is kind of weird. But yeah, if it does get tied, there is a tiebreaker match, of course. So anyways, Elfuzion bringing a Tinkatink. We've already seen what Tinkatink can do in this video here. A Mindfu, Toadscool, a Marini, which we just saw that thing wreak some havoc in the last battle there. A Jagmo-o, am I saying that right? Yeah. Really cool Pokemon. Don't really know what it does in this tier. We're gonna find out. Even my Gen 9 Little Cup experience is pretty limited, and then Volibee as well. Skyu bringing kind of a similar team. I mean, you got a lot of similar Pokemon. Actually, it's a super similar team, barring the Jagmo. Got a Elekid instead. Other than that, I think it's the same 5 as Elfuzion. Let's get into it here. Alright, lead Mindfu from Elfuzion. Volibee lead from Skyu. In comes Tinkatink on the Brave Bird. Okay, but it's going to be able to take that thing's a Violate after the balloon pops. Assuming it's a Violate. Oh, it's Choice Scarf. Never mind. Volibee switching in here for Elfuzion to take the Brave Bird. Wow, that does a lot. Gets the Weak Armor boost, so it's going to be able to outspeed now. In comes the Tinkatink for Skyu. U-turns out of there. Toadschool coming in. Toadschool coming in for Skyu. In comes, or for the Earth Power there. Follows up with a Dazzling Gleam. Oh, this thing gets spikes. Okay, so yeah, spikes from the Toadschool. In comes Mindfu on the Rapid Spin turn, so this thing's gonna be a little bit faster now. Definitely no speed, regardless of what food that is. Knocks that thing off, loses its Violate. U-turns out of there for super effective damage too. Volibee switching in. Dazzling Gleam, super effective. But Dual Wing Beat should be able to get the KO here, yeah. So there you have it. Volibee switching in here for Elfuzion. Tinkatink coming in on the U-turn. Mindfu coming in here for Elfuzion. High Jump Kick does 59% on the Tinkatink. Draining Kiss is going to get a bit of that HP back. Can take another one now, but switches into Marini instead on the Swords Dance. I always forget Mindfu gets Swords Dance in this generation. Sets up a sub. Mudshot's not able to break the sub either, so Elfuzion looking very good here. It's a knockoff, and then the sub will break from an Ice Beam, but another knockoff is able to get the KO. In comes Elekid. Tinkatink switching in for Elfuzion here. And the T-Bolt, that just gets the kill straight up. Volibee coming in here. Mindfu for Skyu. Knocks off. And then Mindfu coming out for Elfuzion here. U-turn. Elekid coming out here. It's going to be able to outspeed. Gets the T-Bolt KO. Volibee. This is a choice. No, it's not a Choice Scarf Volibee, rather. Although it might be, I guess. Clicking Dual Wing Beat. Actually, I think this one is, just from how they've been playing it. I was thinking, I know the Tinkatink took a Choice Scarf from the other one, but yeah, I'm guessing this is a Choice Scarf Volibee. In comes Tinkatink. Marini switching in for Elfuzion here. Gets Stealth Rocks up. Mindfu switching in. Both players using their timer there. Knocks off that thing's Violate with the Mindfu there. Sludge Bomb, no poison. High Jump Kick, get some chip on that thing. So a little bit lower here. A bit easier for the Elekid, which comes out here. It's going to sack Volibee to rocks. And T-Bolt, of course. Jagmo. Yep. What are we going to see from this thing here? It's going to live an Ice Punch. Oh, and gets frozen. Okay, well, I guess we're not going to find out. Very unfortunate freeze there. I wonder if that thing was going to Dragon Dance or something like that. And then Marini is going to drop to a... Oh, both players using their Terra. Terra Psychic from the Elekid. But Elekid can just wear this thing out. Yep. And that's game. So Skyu, probably said that wrong a million times throughout this video, gets the win for Brazil. A 4-3 here. Brazil just needs one more win, and then they are on to the Little Cup World Cup finals here. As Canada needs to get a win in this last match here. Let's get into Game 8. All right, here we go. We got the 8th game between Camden for Canada and Mayo, or on Pokemon Showdown, Bliar. Bliar. Can't say that, but yeah, Mayo on the opposing side here for Brazil. And this is a Gen 4 Little Cup match. Again, if Mayo gets the win, this is done. Brazil wins this semifinal match. So Camden does need the win for Canada. Let's get into it here. No team preview to mention here. Machop lead from Mayo. Coughing lead from Camden. Takes Dynamic Punch, gets confused, and gets hit in confusion too. Unfortunate. In comes the Bronzor for Mayo. Coughing breaks out of confusion. Clicks Thief there. A little fast for me here. Are we on slow? We are on slow apparently. I'm pretty slow today. Let's see that again. So yeah, breaks out of confusion. Quick Thief on the Bronzor coming in here. Doesn't take an item, though. In comes the Houndour. Mantike switching in for Mayo. Crunch does a lot, and then gets its Oranberry activated. Sets up a Rain Dance. Okay. Sucker Punch from the Houndour here, because I don't think it outspeeds. Is that Swift Swim? Yes, it is. There you go. Mantike coming in for Camden here. Might be a speed tie, and gets the Air Cutter KO after taking a Hydro Pump. Chinchou coming out here. Hidden Power Grass, I would think, gets its Oranberry activated, and then drops to a T-Bolt. Okay, very fast-paced game so far. Camden switching in a Surskit here. We'll be able to outspeed. Click Hidden Power Grass, I'm thinking. And then has a Waconberry to help survive that T-Bolt. Awesome. But it's going to drop to another one now that Chinchou can outspeed with the rain is gone. In comes Witzel. I always say this thing wrong. Gets the return revenge kill. This is a very fast Pokemon. Hitting 19. Machop threatening this thing here. With Dynamic Punch on the Coughing coming in. Gets confused. Deja Vu here. And then gets his Oranberry activated. Bronzor coming in here for Mayo. Breaks out of Confusion. Gets a Crit Thief and takes the Oranberry. Nice. It's taking Confusion on the follow-up there. Gonna live a Psychic though. Gets its new Oranberry activated. Breaks out and clicks Rain Dance to help with something, though it's actually going to lose a turn of rain here because it lives, but gets the Explosion KO, so it's not all that bad. What's going to come out here for Camden in the back? Buitzel instead, actually. This thing does have Swift Swim. It's a big waterfall off, but he's not going to be able to take a Dynamic Punch. What's last for Camden here? Needs to be something clutch. It's a Voltorb. It's T-Bolt. I was thinking maybe Thunder because of its rain team, right? Here comes the Wailmer. Water Spell is just going to knock that thing out clean. Wailmer, at least from the few DPP Little Cup matches I've covered, this thing has been Choice Scarfed, and that was kind of confirmed there, being able to outspeed the Voltorb. So Mayo getting the win for Brazil in 8 games. Took all 8 games for this semifinals match. And I will be covering the other semifinal match. I'm hoping tomorrow. Might be later in the week, we'll see. But again, if you're new to the channel, be sure to like, subscribe, and all that. It's a bit of a long video here, but I enjoyed covering this one. Again, very new to all these different tiers of Little Cup. I had a lot of fun covering this one, so stay tuned for more Little Cup action. And congrats to Team Brazil, of course, moving on to the finals. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.